Okay, let's get started. The time is now 12:01, and I will call the October 2022 District of Columbia Board of Ethics and Government Accountability meeting to order. I'm Norma Hutcheson, the BEGA Chairperson, and due to COVID-19, this meeting is being held virtually via WebEx. Joining me for this meeting so far are board members Charles Nottingham and Melissa Tucker. I will note if Ms. Smith joins us, I'll make note of that later on. And since it was first posted, the meeting agenda has not changed in any way. So I ask the board to please take a minute to review the agenda, and then we'll have a motion to adopt the agenda for today.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Great. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda for today's meeting. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, the board has adopted the agenda for today's meeting. Next, I ask that you review the draft minutes from the August 4th, 2022 meeting, and then consider making a motion to approve those minutes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adopt those meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the board approve the minutes from the August 4th, 2022 meeting. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Hearing none, the board adopts the or approves the August 4th, 2022 minutes. I've gotten a notation here that Ms. Smith is not being admitted as a panelist. So if we could take care of that, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Next on the agenda, we will hear a report from the Office of Open Government. Director Niquelle Allen will provide a report on behalf of the office, and she is appearing virtually via WebEx. Ms. Allen, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I am Niquelle Allen, Director of Open Government, and I am pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Open Government, or OOG. Since the last board meeting, OOG has continued to fulfill its mission of ensuring that all persons receive full and complete information regarding the affairs of the district government and the actions of those who represent them. The first part of my report is Open Meetings Act and Freedom of Information Act advice rendered. I issued 2 Open Meetings Act advisory opinions since the last board meeting. The first one is the ABC Board OMA advisory opinion. On October 26, 2022, I issued an advisory opinion that dismissed an Open Meetings Act complaint against the Alcohol Beverage Control Board, or ABC Board. The complaint alleged that the ABC Board violated the OMA by not allowing the owner of an establishment under its investigation to attend in person its January 26, 2022 public body meeting. The meeting was held via video conference. The advisory opinion made the following findings and conclusions. First, the OMA does not require a public body to provide access to its offices when conducting a virtual meeting. And second, the ABC Board's January 26, 2022 public meeting notice contains the required notice of intent to enter into a closed session to discuss an ongoing investigation. And third, the ABC Board's discussion of the investigation in closed session was lawful. The second OMA advisory opinion was regarding the Healthcare Workforce Task Force. On September 2nd, 2022, I issued the advisory opinion that made the following findings and conclusions regarding the Healthcare Workforce Task Force's compliance with the Open Meetings Act. First, the task force is a public body subject to the OMA. Second, the task force violated the Open Meetings Act notice of meeting provisions by failing to post its public meeting notices on its website or the central meeting calendar. And third, the task force agenda did not provide language that its meetings are subject to the Open Meetings Act and to contact OOG with any questions. My recommendations were as follows. One, that the Department of Health correct its news section where the task force's meeting information is located to include meeting agendas. And two, those agendas need to provide the proper language regarding the Open Meetings Act complaints. And three, that the Department of Health's administrative point of contact for health-related public bodies should attend an Open Meetings Act training. On the next item, the Office of Open Government issued informal OMA and Foia advice as follows. Since the last board meeting, we responded informally via email or telephone to requests for assistance as follows. 5 requests for Open Meetings Act advice, 9 requests for Freedom of Information Act advice, and 27 requests for technical assistance with our website, open-dc.gov. Next is remote meeting monitoring. To ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act, OOG attorneys attend remote public meetings and inspect public body websites and the OOG central meeting calendar for public meeting notices and meeting records. We provide legal advice on OMA compliance and take corrective action if necessary. During August 2022, OOG attended 9 remote public body meetings. As a result of the monitoring, 5 instances of written corrective measures were taken, including notification 1 that the end of public meeting agendas must state this meeting is governed by the Open Meetings Act. Please address any questions or complaint arising under this meeting to the Office of Open Government at opengovoffice@dc.gov, which is required by 3 DCMR Section 10409.2. Second, the public meeting notices and meeting records are missing from public body's website or central meeting calendar. The OMA also requires timely posting of these items, and that's in DC Official Code Sections 2-576, 2-578, and 3 DCMR Sections 10409.3, 10409.4, 10409.5. The next area in my report is training and outreach. The first is Foia basic training. On August 5th, 2022, Attorney Wild presented a Foia training for the Office of Administrative Hearings. Chief Counsel Barton and Attorney DeBerry also attended the training, which was well received. DC Foia templates is the next item. On August 9th, 2022, OOG distributed a collection of templates for responses to requesters under DC Foia. The templates covered all aspects of DC Foia and will be helpful to all agencies, especially those who do not use Foia Express. And as by way of background, the Mayor's Office of Legal Counsel requested that OOG create templates for Foia officers to respond to Foia requests. The next item is Open Meetings Act training. On August 10th, 2022, Attorney Orji presented an Open Meetings Act training for the District of Columbia Retirement Board. The training included practical advice for ensuring OMA compliance, and Chief Counsel Barton also participated in the training. The next is a Microsoft 365 workshop series provided by Octo. On August 11th, 2022, Chief Counsel Barton and Attorney Weil attended the webinar Collaborate with SharePoint presented by Octo's Tech Enablement Team. The training was a continuation of the series of workshops on the use of Microsoft Office 365 applications. Foia basic training. On August 16, 2022, Attorney Weil facilitated Foia training for the Department of Energy and Environment. The training was well received. Microsoft 365 workshop series presented by Octo. On August 18, 2022, I, along with Chief Counsel Barton, Attorney DeBerry, and Attorney Weil, attended the webinar Teams Up, Go Beyond Chat and Messaging with Teams. Octo presented this training again as part of its MS 365 application series. The next item is Managing the Foia Process webinar. On August 24th, 2022, I facilitated the Managing the Foia Process training. The training was the first of a series of webinars hosted by OOG on various DC Foia topics. 52 Foia officers and other district personnel attended the training. The webinars will continue into September 2022. All sessions begin at 1 p.m. and run for about an hour, including questions and answers. Your Obligations when Searching Electronic Records webinar. On August 31st, 2022, Attorney Weil presented Your Obligations when Searching Electronic Records webinar. 54 Foia officers and other district personnel attended the training. The training continued on the series of OOG sponsors webinars, which are focusing on DC Foia, and these have also been widely requested by Foia officers and others. The litigation and legislative update is the next item in the report. For litigation, I'm providing updates on 3 Foia cases. The first is the Washington Post Foia lawsuit regarding records arising from the Capitol insurrection. As I have reported, the Washington Post legal entity, WP Company LLC, or the Post, has sued the district under DC Foia, seeking certain records related to the Capitol insurrection. The Superior Court dismissed the Post's claim concerning the mayor's email messages, but other claims remain contested. Mediation session is set for October 26, 2022, and dispositive motions were due on September 6, 2022. The revised scheduling order is in Dropbox. The next case is Campaign Legal Center versus DOJ regarding records surrounding citizenship questions on the 2020 census. This case concerns a proposed item on the 2020 census questionnaire to ask respondents about their citizenship status. As I reported before, the U.S. Court of Appeals has remanded for further consideration of withholding of 5 emails that may have qualified as pre-decisional. The judgment and the mandate are in Dropbox. The District Court case number 118 CV 01771 TSC held a status conference on remand on August 19, 2022. It appears from the parties' joint status report and their remarks at the status conference that they contested emails, that the 5 contested emails were discretionarily disclosed by August 8, 2022. However, the parties have been ordered to file dispositive motions as to the positions on the applicability of the appellate opinion on the remaining issues, including the foreseeable harm of the federal Foia prong. The last of the briefs are due on December 21st, 2022. The scheduling order, joint status report, and docket sheet are in Dropbox. The last case is Richards v. Office of Finance and Treasury regarding a UDC paycheck. This is a pro se case where the plaintiff sued the Office of Finance and Treasury of the University of District of Columbia under DC Foia, but is also seeking records from a private bank. Superior Court so far has quashed her self-issued subpoenas, but the parties remain in discovery. The mediation is scheduled for February 9th, 2023. OOG will continue to monitor these cases and report on any other court activity. Next, respecting legislation, I have no updates at this time. The council is currently on recess, returning on September 15th, 2022, and will have a legislative meeting on September 20th, 2022. Last item in this section is another news item, which is an article by Justin Doubleday of the Federal News Network. Does the government need a Foia enforcer? The Foia Advisory Committee has recommended that Congress give the Office of Government Information Services, which acts as a mediator in disputes between federal agency and the public, the ability to issue binding Foia decisions. About 80 countries and more than 24 U.S. states have quasi-adjudicative bodies that decide public record dispute outside of the court system. For example, a requester in Pennsylvania can file a complaint with the Office of Open Records, and if mediation can't settle the matter, a complaint officer can issue a binding decision. The decision can still be challenged in court, which happens in about 3% of the decisions. This article is in Dropbox for your consideration. The last part of my September report is administrative matters. The first is OOG's new and first paralegal specialist. I am pleased to introduce to the board the OOG's paralegal specialist, Ms. Kimberly Brown. Ms. Brown has a Bachelor of Science degree in criminology from North Carolina State University and a Master of Arts in Legal Ethical Studies from the University of Baltimore. I'm very proud to be welcoming another member of the ACC. As you all know, I went to UNC to my staff. Prior to coming to OOG, she was a legal assistant with the Office of Administrative Hearings, and during her tenure with that office, Ms. Brown supported the Principal Administrative Law Judge and Associate Administrative Law Judges at the OAH's Department of Licensing and Enforcement. We are delighted to have Ms. Brown on board. And the last item is the Vega office relocation. The DC Council approved the lease between the Department of General Services and the landlord, and the lease has finally been executed. DGS is in the process of scheduling a kickoff construction meeting, and we hope to have a construction timeline report in the near future. This concludes the Office of Open Government September 8th, 22 report. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I would be happy to address them.
Wow, you're full of good news.
Yes.
I'd like to first of all welcome Ms. Brown, and it's good to hear that we're moving along with the relocation process. That's great news. Are there any questions for Director Allen? Any questions? Okay, then we'll move to the next item on the agenda. That's the report from the Office of Government Ethics. I understand Ms. Director Cooks is under the weather, so the report for the Office of Government Ethics will come from General Counsel Rashi Raj. Ms. Raj, please go forward.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I'm General Counsel Rashi Raj, filling in for Director of Government Ethics Ashley Cooks to preserve what is left of her voice. I'm pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Government Ethics, OGE, an update on the status of OGE operations. The information reported today regarding OGE's cases will not reflect any status changes that may occur as a result of actions taken by the board during today's meeting. Open investigations by status, 47 open cases, 1 case open in negotiations, no cases open with show cause hearing, for a grand total of 48 cases. For open undocketed matters, we currently have 4. Pending stayed investigations by status, closed pending collection, we have 27 matters. Stayed pending DC Superior Court case, 4 matters. Stayed for OAG False Claims Act case, 6 matters. Stayed for OIG investigation, 5 matters. And stayed for United States District Court cases, 1 matter. That is a grand total of 43 pending or stayed matters. As for regulatory matters by status, closed pending collection, we have 30. For open, we have 18 for a grand total of 48. Investigations current, you'll see, is consistent over time, 48 this month, 49 last month, 46. It says July here, that is the July meeting for the month of June. Investigations stayed, also consistent, 16 for the last 3 periods. A number of open, preliminary, and formal investigations include 7 new matters. The investigative team resolved 8 investigations since the board last met. The quarterly complaint report for the 3rd quarter of fiscal year 2022 was posted to the website in early August. It was uploaded to the Dropbox for your convenience. Training and outreach. Professional development trainings attended by staff. Auditor Emmanuel Tajuba completed the following trainings: maintaining a cohesive multi-generational workforce, accomplishing goals with perseverance and resilience, remaining tactful and diplomatic under pressure, and planning meetings fit for purpose. Program Specialist Stan Kosick completed encouraging team communication and collaboration on Percipio. Investigator Ralph Bradley completed motivational interviewing presented by the National Criminal Justice Training Center and Microsoft Teams, becoming one with OneDrive. Investigator Ronald Cook completed a 2-day skill path business writing and grammar seminar. I attended 2 sessions offered by the Office of Attorney General, 11th hour legal ethics training and the craft of legal writing. Director of Government Ethics Ashley Cooks attended Collaborating with SharePoint and Team Up, Go Beyond Chat and Meetings with Teams, which was offered by the Office of the Chief Technology Officer. Finally, I'd like to congratulate Supervisory Attorney Asia Stewart Mitchell on her acceptance to the nationally accredited Certified Public Manager program. The program is administered by the Department of Human Resources and is designed to enhance the skills of district government managers and provide them with the tools to be more effective leaders. Academic rigor is brought to the program through strategic partnerships with the George Washington University, as well as renowned government, nonprofit, and private sector practitioners. Participants will complete 300 hours of graduate level instruction over 12 months. The program includes modules such as basic leadership, leading change, leadership values and ethics, and managing human resource issues. Finally, most members of OGE completed the mandatory harassment prevention training. For trainings conducted by our staff, since the August board meeting, OGE conducted 5 trainings: the August Hatch Act training, August monthly ethics training for the administrative law judges of the Office of Administrative Hearings, the August brown bag session, and the September Hatch Act training. Last week, OGE attorneys together led our monthly ethics counselor brown bag session, which consisted of an overview of the comprehensive code of conduct. Each attorney presented a part of the proposed legislation to the ethics counselors who were in attendance. Our next brown bag session will take place on Monday, September 26th, and will focus on the DC-1 fund, which traditionally kicks off during the first week of October. During August, 25 employees completed our online ethics training via PeopleSoft. Outreach. OGE and OOG continue to meet with the Office of the Chief Technology Officer's website development staff to discuss Vega's website refresh. The website refresh will improve organization, searchability, and user-friendliness, as well as the overall appearance of the website. We are currently working on changing the website's design so that information is readily available with minimal search efforts. Ethics Week 2022. OGE is preparing for Ethics Week 2022. This year's theme is Ethics in Practice, and it will take place October 11th through the 14th as a virtual event. The event will feature courses presented by OGE and OOG staff, as well as guest presentations and panel discussions by leading ethics and compliance professionals. The course schedule and registration information can be found on the BEGA website. A copy of the final schedule was placed in the Dropbox for your review. Advisory opinions and advice. Informal advice. OGE's legal staff provided advice for approximately 24 ethics inquiries, which is 8 more than the 16 reported at the August meeting. This number does not include responses we have provided to questions regarding the lobbyist and FDS e-filing programs. Formal advice. OGE has completed a sua sponte advisory opinion entitled Outside Employment and Private Representation. The opinion provides guidance on the outside employment and activity restrictions set forth in the District Personnel Manual, Section 1807. The opinion clarifies that employees are prohibited from engaging in outside employment that is incompatible with government service, and that board or commission members are prohibited from representing third parties before their board or commission and employing agency. The opinion references employees' conduct, which violated the outside employment restrictions and resulted in civil penalty. It also provides examples of permissible and prohibited outside employment and activities. Pursuant to DC Official Code Section 1-1162.192, the opinion will be sent to the DC Registrar for 30-day notice of publication. A copy of the opinion was placed in the Dropbox for your review. OGE is also in the final stages of editing an advisory opinion focusing on the fundraising prohibition of the local Hatch Act. Legislation updates. Pro Bono Legal Representation Expansion Amendment Act of 2021. On June 28, 2022, the mayor signed the Pro Bono Legal Representation Expansion Amendment Act of 2022, Bill 24-0298. This legislation will allow employees to provide pro bono legal representation before district and federal courts and agencies subject to certain restrictions. The act was approved by Congress on July 5th and became effective on August 16th, 2022. A copy of the legislation was placed in the Dropbox for your review. The Comprehensive Code of Conduct. OGE's legal team continues to review and update the Comprehensive Code of Conduct, CCC, with the goal of submitting an updated version of the legislation to the board and then to council. As defined in the Ethics Act, the Code of Conduct consists of 7 different statutes and regulations with varying applicability. The CCC is legislation that consolidates the district's ethics laws and standardizes the ethics practices between the legislative and executive branches. With the end of this council period approaching in December 2022, OGE plans to submit the CCC during the next council period in 2023. OGE Administrative Matters. OGE Staffing. I'm pleased to announce that Ms. Christina Mitchell has been offered and accepted the Chief of Staff position. Her start date will be next week on September 12th. The Attorney Advisor vacancy is posted on Careers DC and will remain open until September 30th. The next vacancy for posting is the Program Support Assistant. Budget. We recently received notice from DGS that the lease for Vega's new office space located at 1050 15th Street Northwest has been executed. Next step is to schedule a kickoff construction meeting with the project team. Additionally, OGE and OOG continue to work with the Office of the Chief Financial Officer to close out funding for the remainder of the fiscal year, as well as preparing for expenditures in the fiscal year 2023. Financial Disclosure Statements, FDS. OGE continues to review the FDS statements for the 2022 season. Auditor Tajuba completed 2 audits, one for the public FDS conflict of interest and the other for confidential FDS that were flagged by their ethics counselors. The results of both audits are under review by the FDS team. On August 10th, OGE sent fine notices to confidential and public filers who failed to file or were late filers. A garnishment memo containing 275 names was sent to the Office of Pay and Retirement Services for the processing of a one-time payroll deduction in the amount of $300. The e-filing system upgrades for the FDS system are underway. The upgrade consists of enhancing login privileges for council members and adding certification language that is consistent with the members' biannual filing requirements. Lobbying, registration, and reporting, LRR. Since the end of the second quarter, lobbyists have filed 6 new registrations and the LRR team answered 5 support tickets. One notable highlight is that no late filings were received. We believe this is evidence that the periodic trainings given by Attorney Advisor Eccles and Program Specialist Kosick are resonating with attendees. Thank you. This concludes the Office of Government Ethics September 8th, 2022 report.
Thank you, General Counsel Raj. Are there any questions for General Counsel Raj? Okay, I just had one. You said the address for the new office is 1050 15th Street?
Yes,
Is that like around 15th and K or something like that?
correct. It's
you know?
it backs up to the Capitol Hilton.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Okay. And you said we made an offer to Christina Mitchell for the Chief of Staff. Do we know when she's going to start? Did I miss that?
On Monday, September 12th.
All right, sounds great. Okay. That's all I had. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that I read Director Cooks's opinion on outside employment, and I thought it was great. I thought the examples were very realistic and helpful and much appreciated.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Hope your voice gets better soon. And I also note that board member Felice Smith has joined us. She's been with us for some time. She wasn't admitted initially as a panelist, but she's been in the meeting as a panelist for a few minutes now. Okay. The next item on the agenda is public comments. The public was invited to submit comments in writing by 11 a.m. today. And we received one comment from Alex Howard, who is the Director of Digital Democracy Project. His comment will be included in the record for today's meeting. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the executive or closed session. And this item is a closed session to discuss ongoing confidential investigations pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575B14, to consult an attorney to obtain legal advice and to preserve the attorney-client privilege between an attorney and a public body pursuant to DC Official Code, Section 2-575BA, to discuss personnel matters, including the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, performance evaluation, compensation, discipline, demotion, removal, or resignation of government appointees, employees, or officials pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B10, to deliberate on a decision in which the Ethics Board will exercise quasi-judicial functions pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B13, and to discuss contract negotiation strategies pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B2. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
I'll offer the motion that we enter into executive session.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Great. It's been moved and seconded that the board enter into executive session. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Ms. Smith? Okay. Okay. Any nays? Hearing none, we're going to enter into executive session and return to the open session to finish any other business and adjourn the meeting. So I ask that we log out and enter into executive session. Okay. The time is now 1:16 p.m. and we are back on the record. The board approved a negotiated settlement in the matter number 22-0077-P in Ray C. Thornton. And there being no other business for the board's consideration today at the October meeting, this concludes our meeting until the next meeting that is scheduled for October 6th, 2022 at noon. It will also be held by WebEx. Thank you all for your attendance. Oh, and before we do go, I did want to congratulate Ms. Stewart Mitchell on her acceptance into the leadership program at GW.
Thank you.
All right. Great.
All right.
All right.
Madam
Thank you
Chair.
so much.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.